loosey, righty tighty.
Oh, right.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about what might honestly be one of my favorite movies of the year, The Bad Guys 2. That's right, I'm saying it. As of now, this is not just one of my top animated films of the year, it's one of my top movies of the year, period. And if you watch the channel, then you know I just recently watched the original Bad Guys for the first time. You know, I did a full Pixel and Popcorn video on it, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. In that video, I remember thinking to myself multiple times that this movie's awesome. Like, genuinely awesome. And it's wild because when it first came out, I never saw it. You know, it was one of those movies I kept telling myself I'd get around to. And I'd see it pop up on something like Peacock, or I'd be browsing and think, okay, oh yeah, if, you know, the Blu-ray or 4K go on sale, I'll grab it because I've heard it's good. But I just kept putting it off. Then finally, I ended up watching it and it blew me away. So going into the sequel, I was actually a little nervous because I remember the trailers for The Bad Guys 2 dropping before I had even watched the original, and I was kind of like, looks a little generic. You know, I like it. Felt like it was going to be one of those sequels that just rehashes the same thing, and especially once you find out in the trailer that they're going up against a female crew, I was kind of like, okay, so this is just going to be like the female version of them. You know, kind of just been there, done that, whatever. But I was so wrong. And I'm also so glad that I was wrong, because now I am officially invested in this franchise and I need a Bad Guys 3. So with that, let's talk about the plot. So it starts off with a flashback, and it's not just a throwaway flashback either. It actually ties into the central plot later on in a really smart way. Now, after the flashback, the bad guys are trying to be good. They're doing the right thing. They've cleaned up their act. But here's the thing, the world doesn't care, and I actually love that, because even though this is an animated film made for kids, it feels real. It explores the idea that no matter how much good you do now, people will always remember the bad. They can't get jobs, for example. They've got no careers, no second chances, and that alone sold me on this movie's emotional depth. But plot-wise, they're trying to uncover the identity of this new criminal crew, the Phantom Bandits. That's the female group that you end up seeing in the trailers. But instead of just being rivals, the story ends up twisting into something else entirely. They actually get tied into the Phantom Bandits' mission, and everything just snowballs from there. It ends up being tight, fast-paced, and the stakes are way more personal than you'd even really expect for a movie like this. So let's talk characters. Wolf is once again played brilliantly by Sam Rockwell, who brings his grounded, charismatic energy to the role that just works. And I gotta say that elevates the movie in a big way. Awkwafina, who I know gets a lot of hate online, is really good as Tarantula, like genuinely good. Maron is hilarious as Snake, and he's back, and I love how his character continues to evolve. And Anthony Ramos, just like the previous film, is so good, because he's the one guy where I genuinely could not tell that it was him. Even in this movie, I keep forgetting, because he actually makes it like a different voice. And then there's Shark, who's very funny. Once again, every line delivery is perfect. The entire cast just crushes it overall. Now let's talk about the comedy, because it's insane. People kept hyping up Naked Gun as the funniest movie recently, but I gotta be honest, after watching both, which I still love Naked Gun by the way, I feel like I laughed way more watching The Bad Guys 2. And that's, like I said, not a knock on Naked Gun. That was a great movie too, but this movie had me dying of laughter. The humor walks that perfect tightrope. There's some jokes for kids, like Piranha drops the occasional fart joke, for example. But most of the humor is age neutral, or at least aimed slightly older, and it reminded me of how early Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon movies, where it's a kid's movie on paper, but as an adult, you're right there fully engaged. It's clever, it's sharp, and it never dumbs things down. That animation is, once again, gorgeous. The art style in this franchise is so unique, and it's got something even better this time around. The action scenes are legitimately good. There's a heist scene that takes place during a wedding, for example, and that whole sequence is perfection. The chase scenes are tight, they're well animated and genuinely thrilling. There's a weight to everything that's happening. Even when it's ridiculous, it still feels grounded in this animated world. I walked out of this movie and I thought to myself, is this a top 10 movie of the year contender for me? And I feel like, after it being a day, Yes, for right now. I'm sure it'll change. It's not just a great sequel, though. It's a great film, period. So either way, this is still improving on the original, deepening the characters, delivering better action, sharper comedy, and managing to be both heartfelt and hilarious. And here's the crazy part. This was the first movie I watched yesterday out of all 4 of a movie lineup. And I usually save the best for last, usually end up being right. But somehow this one ended up standing out the most. Out of everything I watched, this is the one that kept, coming back to me. This is the one that made me smile the most. I absolutely love this movie, and I need a third one pronto. So with that, we're going to give The Bad Guys 2 a 10 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought of The Bad Guys 2 down in the comments. Did it blow you away like it did me? Are you a fan of the original, or are you more partial to the first one overall? And if you haven't seen either movie yet, what are you doing? Go fix that now. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and check out my Pixel and Popcorn review for the first Bad Guys if you haven't already. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Where's my flowers? Prego, cappuccino.
Webs.